Thanks very much. I'm not sure about anybody else, but you might fancy moving up to Shetland. Okay, bit background. My name is Robertson. I am a change manager, programme manager within the City of Edinburgh Council. So I do quite a lot of big, significant change projects, mainly on the IT side. So previously I've led projects delivering Oracle financials, procurement, HR, and also more recently the IT refresh across all schools in the city, so across all secondaries, primaries, nurseries, special schools and community learning sites. At the moment, we are currently working through a change strategy. Edinburgh's got about 106 million to save over the next 4 years. From 2012, we've saved about 240 million. The majority of that has been through, similar to other local authorities, workforce changes. We've gone through quite a significant reduction in terms of numbers of staff. So workforce changes is one of the big areas where we got a lot of the savings. We had a transformation programme. My view of that wasn't so much transformation. We didn't really transform services. What we did do was transform the number of staff that we had across the service areas. So it's probably maybe common across local authorities. Other areas that we generated those savings from was through procurement, how we procured our goods and services. So there was a big programme of work around about commercial excellence. And another area was obviously our assets and our buildings. So we've had a big asset management programme. We've had commercial excellence for procurement, but also through those organisational reviews. So annual budget's roughly about 980 million. Since 2012 we've saved 240, but we've got another pressure now, like all local authorities, to save, in Edinburgh's case, 106 million over the next 4 years. So this approach, the Edinburgh way, is basically my thoughts in terms of how we can take the change strategy, all of the work that's going to fall out of the change strategy. There's going to be a number of projects and programmes from that. We're working through it at the moment, working with elected members just to get approval in terms of what are our options, what are the things that we want to drive forward as an organisation. We've got a core team internally, which is pretty small. There's probably about a dozen of us that will do leading on the change, doing the delivery. So we've got a mixture of project, programme managers, business analysts, and process improvement people, but there's about a dozen of us, so it's not a big team that we've got. What we sometimes would do is pull in people externally to support us in delivery. So the Edinburgh way is really designed, what it is, it's very, very high level, very basic approach to project and programme delivery. One of the things that we have in the organisation at the moment is a number of people that haven't got a project management background have been asked to come in and lead on projects, so whether that's service managers or people within service areas. So one of the things that we're developing at the moment is to try very basic, fundamental project management techniques rolled out across the organisation. We don't want to scare people by saying, here's all the things that you must do in a project. So let's say, what are the key things? Over the next couple of months, I'm going to run briefing sessions across the organisation, and it'll be based on the Edinburgh way. So here it's just setting a bit of context about, okay, as an organisation, as a council, we're continually having to change, whether it's changes coming through from regulatory side, whether it's legislative changes, whether it's changing services, whether it's changing to make sure that we're delivering the right services for the public. We're continually changing. A large part of the council work now and going forward is probably going to be increasing in terms of the changes that we're going to have to continually do to transform the organisation. One of the things that we've got working at the moment that is quite exciting is we're doing an intelligent automation programme, and that's looking at those highly repetitive processes that we can actually automate. And it started off in our customer area. It's now moving across the organisation. So I've been working with our children and families area and looking at not the core services in terms of learning and teaching, but some of those peripheral services and what are the types of processes that we could automate. So that's one of the things that we're doing in Edinburgh that actually is probably truly transformational in terms of how we run the business. So this was just really a slide to say, okay, where does change come from, and how does project management fit into that change? So my argument is to deliver the change and to drive the change, project management is probably the backbone in terms of a series of processes, steps that you could apply to help guide you through delivering the change. As I said, it's very high level, very basic. It's just getting those fundamentals out. So definitions, what do we mean by a project? What do we mean by a program? And what do we mean by a portfolio? So I think everybody's pretty okay in terms of what a project and a program is. The portfolio approach is something that we've just started doing in Edinburgh probably in the last 2 or 3 years. And that's looking at, well actually, yeah, we know about projects and programs that deliver outputs and outcomes in relation to your agreed business case, but what actually is the portfolio and how does that benefit us? So what we've been trying to do in Edinburgh, and it's taken us 2 or 3 years, so I wouldn't say we're anywhere near yet agreeing what is our portfolio. What we're trying to do is agree what are the key projects, what are the key programs that we need to deliver as an organisation. So what are the right ones? What are the ones that are going to deliver against our strategic requirements? What are the ones that are going to deliver against those commitments that have been agreed as part of the 5-year administration? So at the moment there's probably about 40 to 50 project and programs in our portfolio, which I think is probably too big. They're made up of sort of capital investment projects, so things like new schools. At the moment we're also working on Northbridge, trying to make sure bits don't fall off it or it falls down. So that's another one of the big projects that we've got in our portfolio, right through the service improvement programme. So at the moment I'm leading on a project in adult and children's services, and that's mainly the IT element, looking at replacing our current SWIFT system. I think, similar to other authorities, challenge for us around about that is the funding for it, and it's making the case for looking at delivery or replacement of those systems. So my colleague Emma, she is leading on the change strategy, so any questions in terms of change strategy at lunchtime or whenever, feel free to ask Emma. So the portfolio, what we've got set up is once a month we have a change board, which is basically our council leadership team, so it's got a chief executive and executive directors. They meet once a month. We take a portfolio pack, basically just kind of status of all of the projects within that portfolio. We're reporting things like, are they achieving their benefits, what's the level of risks associated with them, etc. This one, again, I won't spend too much time dwelling on it, but it's really for people to say, what are the key roles within a project or a programme? And I was quite surprised. I led our council leadership team last year. I used to go sort of every month because I worked on the portfolio in terms of the project and programme governance. And now I've moved back into doing the delivery role. But even at our senior management level, there was a bit of a disagreement on what we meant by sponsors, project leads, programme leads, etc. So it's looking at agreeing what is going to be our common language for the roles within a project and programme, and what are the key elements that make up those programmes. Again, this is my very simple approach to the whole project lifecycle in terms of how we get from start to finish. So if somebody's got an idea, how do they get it from their head, make it into something tangible, and you deliver that outcome. So I've kind of split it into 5 areas. I don't think it's anything new. It's based along the sort of Prince 2 sort of guidelines. So we've got an idea stage. What we've tried to do in Edinburgh, and it's not been that successful, is trying to get one front door for change. So to get a group across the organisation, what are all the significant change projects, programmes, initiatives, ideas that are coming through, and trying to funnel them through one route. So we don't get a number of projects that pop up that are pretty much doing the same thing. So we're trying to get that up and running at the moment. So we're trying to get that everybody that's got ideas, funnel them through. We're going through Emma at the moment in terms of the change strategy side of things. Once we've got through that idea stage and it gets approved, we then go into the initiation. One of the big things that we're trying to focus on is making sure every initiative that's coming forward has got some sort of business justification. I think there's a number of areas, and probably isn't unique to Edinburgh, is we've got projects that are underway. You go and say, where's your business case, where's your business justification? And you might get a blank look. So one of the things that we've been really quite sort of strict on at the moment is making sure we've got a business case. And it doesn't have to be War and Peace, for example. As long as there's a business justification there, then depending on the size and nature of the project. So obviously at the moment we're looking at the tram extension, so I would expect quite a big business case, chunky business case for doing that, but it's a smaller scale change. Just use your common sense and probably scale that back. So initiation stage, if the business case gets approved, we then go into planning it. And I think that's one of the big areas for me in terms of where we fail with projects. I think we're quite keen to just jump straight into doing delivery. And we don't do that upfront sort of planning bit. And then we get 6 months into a project or programme and we either don't have the right resources or we haven't planned it sufficiently and they start to fail. So one of the things that we're trying to do in Edinburgh is spending more time upfront here, making sure we've initiated and we've planned them out before we sign off and then jump straight into doing the implementation or delivery. Other area that we are focusing on is closure. We're not great at closing down projects formally. We are pushing for that at the moment, but the other thing that we're also focusing on is making sure that projects are actually delivering their benefits. I think there's a big focus on let's get this project done and delivered. Once it's delivered, the benefits that were agreed way back in your business case kind of erode away or there's not a focus. One of the things that we're doing now is setting up these groups. So as well as having your monthly or 6 weekly project board, at the end of the project, kind of change that into benefits we call harvesting. I think that was my word, I was quite proud of that, benefits harvesting meeting, and that makes sure that all the projects every month report on the benefits and the status of where they are with realising the benefits. What I've done, I'll send this round, so I won't go into any detail here. I've kind of broken it down just into each of those areas, the idea, initiation, planning, delivery and closure in a bit more detail, and how we get through it. Behind all this I've got a toolkit which I'm happy to share as well, and that's got some of the key documents that we're looking for projects and programmes on the organisation to do. So for example, business cases, we've adopted the Green Book 5 case model for business cases, and again, can be as detailed or not depending on the size and nature of the project. So in terms of business cases, making sure that you've got how does it align with your organisation strategy. If it doesn't, then you need to ask, should we be doing this or not? What's the economic case, commercial management and financial? So behind all of these, and again, we've not gone overboard, so we've got probably about a dozen max templates. We're not enforcing them at the moment. In my view, there's a couple of documents that I would say all projects should be mandated. Business cases one, status, highlight reporting, maybe risk management as well. Planning, again, this is quite wordy, but you can send out afterwards, but it's making sure that when you're actually through the business case stage, what are the things that you need to do to effectively make sure that you're setting that project up for success. So looking at things like, is there a procurement element, for example? Who do we need to engage with? Do we need finance? Do we need to put procurement in? Do we need other areas of our organisation? Making sure that you're sufficiently resourced. At the moment, and again, won't be unique to Edinburgh. One of the issues that I've got in the programme that I'm working on in terms of replacing the IT system for adult services and children's services is resourcing. When we went through the transformation programme 2 or 3 years ago with the reduction of staff, the staff that are now in the organisation busy doing day-to-day stuff, so when we go in and say we need resourcing for this project, we don't have the luxury of being able to second people out on a full-time basis. So at the moment I'm working with people from the service areas, subject matter experts, when I can. So that increases the risk to delivery. So I've committed in terms of timescales to get the project delivered in. However, it's heavily caveated by dependency, and making sure that we've got the right resources from that's criminal justice, housing and homelessness, or whatever other is foster and looked after children, for example. So at that planning stage, it's quite key to make sure that you're setting that project up for success. And delivery, just all the standard delivery stuff about stage report, managing risks, etc. Project assurance, we use our internal audit team to do assurance on projects in a risk-based approach. If it's capital projects, sometimes we would go externally and get those people that have maybe got an engineering background or they've got the right skills to do assurance in some of the big capital projects. And in terms of our closure, all we've really got there is a project close report, and that basically looks at all of the outputs. Has a project delivered what it said it was, would according to its business case? What was the financial outturn? Did it deliver within budget, over budget, under budget? What are any carry-on activities? So if there's a number of tasks that are still to deliver, who's owning those, and what's the timescale for delivery? And also, we're saying lessons learned. I'm saying we should be doing lessons learned at each of the key stages of the project, not just leaving it to the end. This is our toolkit, so it's pretty light, but again, it was designed that way, so we're not going in to these guys that are good projects that have a strong project background and frighten them off. So we're saying, okay, here's the toolkit. They're there to help. We're not mandating any at the moment. But it's basically having your initial business case, full business case, project initiation documents, and so on. So they are published on our org, and they're there for anybody in an organisation to use. Happy to send them to you guys as well, and I wouldn't think they'd be terribly different from anybody else's. I think these documents are pretty much of a muchness. It's just really entirely in terms of where you can go for support. So our team, the dozen of us, as well as doing delivery, we also do portfolio management side of things. We've got a team that are working on strategy development as well. So it is quite a small team. So as well as doing the delivery and assurance components of projects, we also provide sort of an internal consultancy in terms of support. So for other parts of the organisation that might want a couple of hours or whatever, half a day of advice or support, they can come to our team, and we try. We've got the time to support those guys. I won't go through this slide because this was just my random thoughts a couple of weeks ago, and I've not really probably thought it through that well. But the other thing that we've done for services, and it was mainly for the portfolio, was looking at, okay, if you've got a number of projects that we're being asked to deliver, but we've only got a finite amount of resource, whether that's people or money, how can we prioritise what projects we're going to put forward? So I've developed this prioritisation matrix that looks at evaluating projects in a number of different areas. So has your project got a strategic component? If it does, we can score it in terms of whether it's got a low, medium or high strategic value. Similarly, financial, level of risk that could be associated with the project. Is it transformational or not? What impact would it have on the community or environment? Political impact on staff culture and legislative. So that's one of the tools that we developed to prioritise projects that would go into the portfolio. And I would emphasise it's just a tool. I think there's an element of common sense that has to be applied as well to it. But that was one of the things that we said, if it gets a score, say above 14, then that would be one that we promote that goes into the portfolio. But again, it's an element of common sense. So that was a quick rush through, I think. As I said, under quite pressure to deliver savings over the next 4 years. And what we're trying to do with this is go out to those service areas. So we have a number of service managers, a number of people within the teams, within departments are going to be asked to lead on a project, and rather than going in with a lot of detail, keeping it very high level, say, here's some high level fundamentals, we're here a team to support you. I think the ambition would be for us is that we don't get services coming to us to support them in projects. We build that foundation so across all services there's that level of project understanding, programme understanding, where there's fundamentals across the board. So people, if they're asked to do a project, will say, okay, right, here's the key things that I need to think about or do. So that was a quick rush through, but as I said, we'll these documents over at the end. Okay.